This is episode 242 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dio Morales, and today I'm joined by Ryan. First it was Hawkeye, then it was Spite. Okay. You guys didn't hear what I just heard and why I stuttered, but we're leaving it in there. Now it's Boba Fett time, Staniszewski.
This is a great month for Disney and Marvel, Star Wars, all of it. Hawkeye was great. Spider-Man was amazing. I can't wait for Boba Fett.
All right. And we're also joined by Marcel. I like yelling in Dion's ears while he does the intro, Manzano.
Never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
All you have is the video of me cowering. You know my wife constantly jump scares me. Not on purpose, but I'm easily jump scareable.
That's my wife. Like earlier today or last night, I went to double check on her in the change because she was changing Ollie in the changing room, make sure everything was all right. And I said, "Honey, you need anything?" And she just jumped and I'm like, "I didn't try and scare you. I'm just here to help. Please don't be mad."
Yep. No, I tell Devin she's gotta announce herself as she enters the room, because there's been times where she like walks into my office and I'm just so focused I don't see her out of the side of my eyes, and then she like touch me on the shoulder. I'm like, oh my god. But anyway. Plan today is we're going to be breaking down cards that we haven't talked about. We've been a little busy. We have a bunch of stuff to do. And we got a lot of pilots to talk about. A lot of pilots, and we're just gonna jump into it. But hold on. Hopefully everybody's holidays were good. It is December 27th right now, a couple days after Christmas. If you are of the Christmas persuasion, Merry Christmas. If not, it's cool. Happy holidays. And if you don't do anything in this time of the year, that's cool too. High five to you. All right. But
I can't begin to explain how many Baby Yoda products my son now has.
It's the child.
Mostly clothes. It's the child. My sister is spoiling the crap out of him.
It doesn't get better. Like, it doesn't get less. Like, it just continues. It's yeah. Yep. Yeah. I told my daughter the other day that we have to have like a junk out is what she calls it from the show that she likes, Bluey. She's like, no. She has so many toys. We have 2 floors of toys everywhere. It's like, I play with them all, Poppy. I'm like, but do you? But anyway, talking about toys. Let's talk about our toys. We're gonna get into some pilots today, but before we do that, I want to remind you that becoming a patron is the way to support GSP. If you want to be a part of our largest group, we have the upcoming Pursuit Squadron is the next set. Looking forward to getting that in people's hands. All right. Let's go ahead, Ryan. You got some stuff organized here. I'll let you start. Which pilot do you want to hit first?
I think I would like to hit Moff Gideon himself, the ruthless remnant leader, with the flappy TIE fighter. No clue if we'll ever get that model. Might be cool. That's a pipe dream. But standard TIE stat line has 2 charges. 1 recovers at the end phase of each round. While an enemy ship at range 1 to 3 defends before attack dice are rolled, you may spend 1 charge and choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. If you do, defense dice cannot be modified during this attack, and the chosen friendly ship gains 1 strain token. So Moff Gideon, wide-ranging effect, because it's range 1 to 3, that's big, but it does require a friendly ship, not another, so he can do it to himself, mind you, to be at range 0 to 1 of the defender of an attack someone in your squad is making. And then they cannot modify their defense dice, that's a big deal. Ixnay's force, Ixnay's any type of modifications. That's big. And it technically can be done twice a turn.
Yeah.
For the first time. For
I
every
think
time thereafter, you have to catch up on your charges.
one of the things I like about this is that it's Initiative 4, and so many of those the Inferno Squadron pilots are also at that Initiative 4, meaning that I'm guessing it's going to be at least priced in a way that it might actually be usable.
I am curious to. So I'm going to ask Marcel. Where do you think this ranks in its effectiveness, and whereabouts? Like you compare it to Howl Runner and Iden, and as you start going down the train, when does it become equivalent? So we can kind of get a feeling of cost, or is it in between some of them?
Well, for starters, this card feels like it was revealed 6 months ago, just because of how much stuff has came through that it feels like old news. So I can't believe we're just talking about it now. The second one, I'm trying to just wrap my head around exactly what it does. So when an enemy ship at range 1 to 3 defends, so the enemy is defending.
Mm-hmm.
You may spend a charge and choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender. So you can choose the defender or a ship around it. If you do,
a friendly ship to you at range 0 to 1 of the defender.
Oh, so it's a friendly ship to yourself.
Yes. So it could be Gideon, because it doesn't say it can't be. And it's a friendly ship at range 0 1 of the defender, which it doesn't say another. So it could even be the attacker if the attacker's at range 1 as well, right?
So
I don't see
if
a
you
reason why that couldn't be.
Sure. So if you do, defense dice cannot be modified during the attack, and the chosen friendly ship gains 1 strain token. So basically, you have to have a ship that's friendly to you, close to, or yourself, close to an enemy, and that ship will get a strain in order to make sure that the defender can't modify their defense up to 2 times in an attack. So essentially, it's a pseudo jam or something like that. So if you've got Sunterfell at range 1 with a focus evade for 2, it's like Forlom. You can't use it.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say it's kind of like Forlom, but less. Like strain is obviously less hurtful than Ion, but it's not as easy to trigger, right? Forlom just needs to exist on the card.
Also, Forlom is only 1 token. This is modified defense, so Forlom doesn't work against force. And if you have a force and focus, or force evade, or focus evade, you can only pick 1 thing. So it's a little bit better in that regard. And you don't have to use it against yourself. You can use it. I mean, you can use it twice, so you can basically use it to nuke a ship that is heavily tokened. Defender Vader is there. Now you got Defender Vader tokenless for 2 shots.
Yep. So with that in mind, does this the effect should this cost similar to Iden, who's 40?
No.
Or Howlrunner, who's 41?
No.
Okay.
I would probably put them. So all the other ones that you were talking about, like the rest of that Inferno Squadron, are between 28 and 30. They're
actually they're now between 27 and 28. Del Meeko, Gideon, Sane are all 27. Mauler, Scourge, Wampa are 28.
So those are 28. I would probably put them in the 33, 34 range. Maybe between 34 and 36. Yeah, like in the Jake range. Okay. Because his ability triggers is basically a support ability for other ships. So if you're flying with Rack, who wants to be at range 1 of everything, so now you're not going to be able to, Rack. You're just going to ram Rack in the center, and basically he's just going to make sure that Rack does what he needs to do. So he doesn't have to be part of a swarm in order for this to happen. He can very easily fit into a 4-ship list, or even, I don't think a 3-ship list, but a 4-ship list, where you've got a couple heavy hitters that are getting in close to range 1, and you're trying to either, you got Vader and Sunter, and you're trying to alpha something. You can alpha something at initiative 6 and things like that. So that's the way I think I see it.
Yeah, so I just want to real quick here. So just to lay out the requirements for this card. Step 1, obviously you're firing at an enemy ship, or an enemy ship is being fired at range 1 to 3, and there is an enemy, or excuse me, a friendly ship to Gideon himself or another one at range 0 to 1 of that ship that is defending.
Yeah. And this
Right?
loves the what is it? Not the Dauntless, rack, and all those other things, because strain on those things is
Yeah, I even thought that Rampage might be good in a squad with Gideon, because Rampage just runs in or runs right really close to stuff, hands off strain to it, and then you're not negating its defense tokens. That could be a deadly combination. I just realized you're right, Deal, when you say an enemy ship at range 1 to 3. So only the enemy ship needs to be at range 1 to 3.
Yeah, the friendly ship can be on the whole
friendly
other
ship
side.
can be completely other way on the other side of the board.
Yeah.
You just need a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of who's defending. But the attacker could be anywhere on the board.
Yeah. The more I talk about it, maybe 36. Like I said, I'm thinking kind of that same Jake, where Jake is a very solid support ship that can completely be that that piece that is going to make the list. You're looking at Dash. What was it? Dash, Ahsoka, Jake. I mean, that Dash, Ahsoka, Jake was basically keeping that together. So this is one of those same things where you have again, I'm looking at the what's the name of it? Rack and those what
Decimator?
Decimators?
There you go. I couldn't think of their name. I was thinking Dauntless for some reason.
That's the title that they normally take.
Yeah.
I think
but
you're
yeah,
right,
like a
the Jake
Decimator
head,
or something else that's big and beefy, or even the Scarabs, like the Initiative 1 Scarabs, just
the Reapers,
the Reapers, just throw it in there and let it take a couple strain, and that can get range 1 really easy because of their ailerons. So
I think your comparison to Jake is pretty apt. It's kind of an anti-Jake. It's not meant to help your friendly ships get more mods. It gets rid of the mods for the enemy ships, which I think in the past we've generally seen beefing your own stuff up has a little bit more success than nullifying or negating some of your opponents. Generally, beefing your red is better than affecting their green, but still good. Could maybe I might even see maybe it's slightly cheaper than Jake, because the chassis is still a TIE fighter, right?
Right.
Granted, Iden and Howlrunner are pretty good, but they're multiplicative.
I also happen to think
that way.
Gideon is easier to trigger than Jake, I believe, because there's
it's easier, but I think you're gonna have a harder time keeping Moff Gideon relevant in the fight than Jake, which for me causes his price to go down a bit.
Gideon doesn't, like, as the game goes on and more ships die around Gideon's value just drops.
I mean, what we haven't seen, at least lately in list building, is the addition of kind of that Jake-like piece where you have, hey, I have X number of points left over. Moff Gideon, if he's priced right, might be a nice, I'm going to use the word filler, not really filler, but maybe a nice third or fourth ship in a list that could give you that punch consistently. Because you definitely might, when I look at the ability, I don't think you want to be doing this to Gideon, because you don't want to take this TIE fighter down to 2 agility.
Unless he's not getting shot.
Unless he's not getting shot, correct? Right? If he's in a safe place, but
yeah, I think another thing, I'm gonna take it down to 32.
32
from 36. Okay. I think less, maybe 33. Another thing that I just reread in there is before attack dice are rolled. So it might be completely useless if you just blank out. You have to take that risk. You'd be like, okay, I'll do it in this shot, and I rolled 1 hit, and the opponent's rolling 3 agility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Where you're choosing after you roll your dice.
Yeah, Gideon could definitely fill that spot of like that low to mid 30s range ship in Empire that isn't just here's a I-1 interceptor, I-1 striker, whatever, right? It actually does something. It has an effect on the game other than here's another 3 dice gun that could die or block. We'll see.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm a fan. I think it could be cool. I mean, if you have, sorry, Cece is super excited about Moff Gideon as well, for sure. But one of the things I can see for it, I mean, you pair it with a ship that can hit consistently hard, like either of the Darth Vaders, ones that have good time on target and consistent shots. If you can get target lock focus consistently, go for it. All right. Marcel, which one do you want next? I think next one we got the Jingoist, right? I feel like we talked about the ISB Jingoist.
The Jingoist was definitely one of the early previews a while ago.
Okay,
so this
cool.
was just part of their Twitter post that they had, but this has been out in the wild in the past, back in their mini extravaganza, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So we did get to talk about that one. Let's go ahead and hit the next one on our list, which is, oops, I changed tabs here. We got some Republic pilots and the Gauntlet title, which we haven't hit. My goodness. All right. Let's go ahead and hit Bo-Katan. How about some Bo-Katan? I need to actually open the post, and it'll work. I'm not panicking. You're panicking. Getting distracted by the Lambolo sub drop there. Thank you, my friend. All right, take this one, Marcel.
You were gonna call me Will.
I really almost did.
After you fully execute, so it's Bo-Katan for the
Republic.
And it says after you fully execute a maneuver, you may gain 1 deplete token to choose an object in your front arc at range 1 or 2. If you do, another friendly ship may perform a target lock action to lock that object. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may gain a deplete token. So that one, it's very situational, and because of the pilot initiative of 4, it really only becomes useful in very rare scenarios, I think. So
yeah, I don't think you're paying extra points for this ability.
I don't think so, because she's got a 3-die front arc and a 2-die back arc, and a deplete is just a way of, I mean, just having a deplete is, now you got a 2-die front arc, a 1-die back arc, and whatever you just depleted, if it's lower initiative, you want to shoot it with your front arc if you're at range 1 or 2. And if it's a higher initiative ship and you think it's going to boogie past you, then you're going to be shooting it with a 1-die, out of the back. The only time that I can really see this is if you've got some ordnance that you just have to trigger, but outside of Y-Wings, there's not a lot of very good ordnance carriers in the Republic. So again, that's not something that I see as being all that useful.
Well, here's maybe another way to look at it. Could it be just
if you
looked
land
at
on a rock, you're not going to shoot.
Oof. Could you also look at it as a double coordinate potential, right?
Oh.
Like that. Depending on how many points this ends up being, you could end up giving yourself, a double coordinate type of thing. You're like, hey, I execute this maneuver. I have an enemy ship at range 1 to 2. take a target lock on my other friendly ship, and because it says another friendly ship, you can't take that target lock yourself. And then for your actual action, you bust out a coordinate. You give that you could maybe give it a focus.
If only
or
there
something
was
like
a
that.
ship that can do that and have force and not end up stressed and not end up depleted. If
True.
only that could happen.
True.
We are talking about that one later, right?
Yes.
I'm guessing. But yeah, I mean, and then the other thing is that there's that one lat that can pull the deplete away, but at that point, you've got a ship that already has a reroll ability that's like 50 something points already. So you're essentially bringing another 50 something point away to add a die to get a target lock on what you already have rerolls for anyway with the native ability. So it's just I don't know. It doesn't look good.
Yeah,
I mean, it
the
doesn't
only
seem good at face value unless there's a way to get rid of that deplete.
I think the only compelling argument I've heard was what Dion mentioned is the chance for that double coordinate type effect where you can give someone a lock action, then coordinate them. But you're also asking a big base ship to fully execute a maneuver that doesn't have a one straight.
Oh, I forgot.
So,
I forgot about that.
Gauntlet doesn't have a one straight.
No, you also have, but in the Republic, you have synchronized console. So there's a very easy way of sharing target locks anyway.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
Rerolls and target locks are not hard to get for the Republic. The Republic are not hurting for that, especially because there's so many of them with
target
force.
lock action, like they have, like you said, they have force, so they have the mods available. So, Dion, you might be right. The ability might not factor a lot into the cost of this pilot.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to pull at straws to see like what's the use case, and it might be one of those things where if it hits a point where maybe it's cheaper, because a lat that has a coordinator on it, if that's more expensive than what this ship is, and if there's a good discount between that lat and this, then you might consider it because it's like a double coordinate light. Though I guess the lat still might be better because you can use the not fire. Is it fire convergence, right? Yeah, fire convergence ability. More flexible than before.
There's you definitely don't want to build a list around this, but my brain, you don't want to build a list around this ability. If you need this to trigger, don't build that list anymore. But I guess this is. Besides the 7Bs in the Ark, this is the only other ship in the Republic that has a 3-die attack that can be up to 4 with 7th Fleet Gunner, right? As far as I recall, 7th Fleet Gunner doesn't have the capability to, or it doesn't have a restriction on base sizes. So, in the corner case where you have something carrying 7th Fleet and you're going to be shooting at something that's range 1 anyway, you could potentially take the deplete because you're going to get that dice back at range 1 for your shot because you can only get max 4 with 7th Fleet Gun. Corner case. I don't know if I'd ever take a Gauntlet and a lat in the same list, though. That's a lot of points for very
support.
Thick ships that probably only allow you for one other ship in your whole list.
All right, well, let's go ahead and we'll pull the generic here. We also had the Night Owl Liberator spoiled, Initiative 2. As you can see, this is the Initiative 2 that is going to be the generic for the Republic. And in that same post that was set out on December 17th, we also got a peek at the Gauntlet title. So Gauntlet's not just the ship name, it is a title. It also counts not only for the title slot, but also the modification slot. Double charges can be used for Republic or Separatists. And it says, during the system phase, you may spend 1 charge to repair 1 face-up ship damage card. It also adds a crew slot. So for ship crits, that means that, just for my own reference here, that means we have, what would that be? That'd be console fire, damage engine, disable power regulator, damage sensor array, fuel leak, loose stabilizer, structural damage.
There's like the hard turn one. There's a bunch
failure,
of them.
and weapons failure.
Yeah, those all sound about right.
Mm-hmm.
The key is that it can help you repair a face subship damaged card, one, without doing the action, and two, repair ones that normally don't have the action to repair it.
Oh yeah. All right, I like that. I think
it also adds a crew slot. Like, how many crew slots do they have already? I feel like two. That's
what I was feeling too as well. Because I mean, this is a chunky ship. This thing is huge. How many crew slots does the Ghost have? 2?
The Ghost has 2.
2 and a gunner.
And a gunner, yeah.
I don't know if this is going to get a gunner. This doesn't feel like a ship with a gunner, but I could definitely see at least 2 crew.
Yeah,
because Slaver's got 2 crew also, and with both Republic and Separatist, you can do probably more with Separatist. You can do a lot with some gunner slots. I mean, with some crew slots.
I mean, we haven't even talked about the potential of like expecting this to have crew and having things like General Grievous crew on it, with how chunky the ship is already, taking its worst attack at it, just nullifying it.
Yeah. So, and the other thing, just a quick question here being asked by first-time caller saying, would this ability generate a weapons disabled? No, it would not. You're thinking about some of the regen abilities that exist during the system phase. Those specifically call out that you get a weapons disabled. This is just, I want to do it. Spend the charge. All right. And yeah, that's coming out in that Gauntlet fighter. If you haven't seen that ship in its box, they do have a what I believe is a render, not a picture of the box. Well, there it is, looking pretty schwanky. And you can see that there's going to be pilots in here for what do we got? We got Republic, Separatists, Rebellion, Empire, and Scum. Maybe. Have we seen pilots for all those, or are those just the upgrade cards that are coming?
We haven't seen Rebel. We haven't seen Rebel or Empire yet.
Yeah, we've only seen the other
previews are rolling quickly.
Mm-hmm. Sell. All right. Then we also got some more cards spoiled from the Mandalorian card pack. We had Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. Which one you want, Ryan?
I'll go Bo-Katan, since we'll keep it rolling with the similar name. Also, Republic or Separatist crew slot. While you perform an attack, if you are at range 0 to 1 of the defender, you may reroll 1 attack die. So, Boba Fett Pilot Light, basically. Yeah. Only for attacking, and it is only 1 dice. But hey, that's rerolling. It's good. Pretty good.
That's right. I like it.
If I don't feel like I have the points, I want to fit more stuff in my list. I don't really want to have to put, albeit still good, Dooku crew or Palp crew on Jango. I would seriously consider Bo-Katan on someone like Jango.
That's right. If you're just looking for offensive mods, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Mm-hmm. And you can use this in times where maybe you don't have access to something like Predator, or if you don't feel as comfortable getting those bullseyes on. You just got to be at 0 to 1. All right, now we got Ahsoka. That Bo-Katan pretty cut and dry. What do we got here, Marcel, for Ahsoka Tano?
Okay, also Republic or Scum. Actually, not also. This is Republic or Scum, not Separatist. Mm-hmm. So Republic or Scum, after you fully execute a maneuver, you may spend the Force to choose a friendly ship in your rear hemisphere.
Yes. Full back arc.
At range 1 to 2. If you do, the ship may perform a red focus action even while stressed. So that's really good, and it kind of plays off of Ahsoka's already abilities from the Rebel and from the Rebel A-Wing and the Delta. So just I mean it's really good. It's probably flying in the front again, Rebel or Scum. You know, if you put it on a ship that is low, you know, a ship that probably wants to be up front, causing havoc. Let me give you a good example would be like Namlam. You know, if you got a big ship like Namlam that, you know, it's kind of just going YOLO. I got a bunch of health, and I'm gonna try to make you bump yourself and give yourself take damage and do all that other fun stuff. And my arc is gonna be wherever you shoot me. Moves first at initiative 1, then you probably know you can be where you want to be. Give the red focus action behind you, and then anything at the same initiative or after can then clear that stress after. So it's extremely good ability. Again, I'm thinking mostly.
I got a bone to pick with this card though.
Oh, and tugboats as well, but tugboats sad, not black box.
So my problem with this card is everything you just said. Why is this Scum?
I hate it.
I don't approve. I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, for starters, Scum already has too many nice toys, and now this is another nice toy, and it's a force.
Yeah, they already had Maul. Let's give them another one.
Yeah.
So the only thing
silly.
I can think of is because the art in this is from the last season of the Clone Wars. Moderate spoilers, I guess, but during the early parts of Ahsoka's character main sections of the story, she was with a couple of sisters that were doing some underground nefarious Scum-like things, and she helped them out because they are not villainy, they're more a smuggler side of things,
right?
Yes. And she was, but I like, if you put her in any Scum squad, like 90% of those squads, it doesn't feel like she would actually do that or help.
Right.
Them. It would literally be just Han and Lando and shoot
right.
something Falcon, or Kanan and the Hawk. There's like so little that like this Ahsoka feels apt to be Scum.
It's just actually the more I think about it, the more nasty it feels. I mean, even think about it on Palob. Palob is another one that probably wants to YOLO up in there and steal tokens, and now you're coordinating as well. Or if you're not coordinating, you just got a force. Put it on Kanan, so Kanan's got an additional force to reduce your.
Oh my goodness!
Put it in a faction that already has so much that could break it. With such little parts of the story that made her Scum.
Yep, it's all right. Crazy question. We haven't seen it yet. Let's say some crazy combo gets discovered with Ahsoka. Would there ever be? We haven't seen an errata where they actually change the equip requirements for the card, and they just like Scum, no, Republic only. Too crazy?
Well, based on what we've seen, I don't think there is a level of too crazy. So
where's the line? What line?
They're ready to hack and slash everywhere.
Yeah,
it don't
so
matter.
So I don't think that might be a possibility down the line, but I honestly don't believe this is the card that would break it,
right?
Or that would cross that line. Just because, again, Scum is so full of good options that something this good and that has so many potential carriers that are like, yeah, that fits in that. Yeah, it fits in that. It fits on many different things, but yet it's so stacked that you're like, nah, maybe I'll pass, and instead I'll go with this or I'll go with that, because it's just so stacked. I mean, even I was playing around today with something that had Unkar and Forlam. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bump and then I'm gonna Forlam you, or just Lando and Han. I'm gonna bump into something, Lando, and then use that token to reroll. I mean, it's just Scum's got every trick in the book, and there's situations where you're like, I don't need
I actually
this.
think Isofay in the chat brought up a really good potential option. What if the cost now it gets confusing here potentially, but what if the cost of a multi-factional available card is different per faction? The cost for Scum would be higher than the cost for Republic.
I don't like that. I'd rather them ban it from. I'd rather them errata and say no Scum than start getting into like the same card cost different for the same effect. Predator here versus that, because then you start getting into.
Can I rebut your argument with saying there are already things that have variable pricing, just we don't have anything varied by faction?
True, but the variable pricing is based on the ship trait, not necessarily like, oh, this combos well with that. So, so it's a little bit different.
Now, like, as much as I'm against this card being Scum, both on a slightly thematic level and just stop giving Scum so many things because something will break. Maybe this card does. I don't actually think this card is that broken in general. I think it'll probably be cost like a forced giving crew should cost, which is 11 or higher at least. I hope. Jeez. And it's a red focus that has to be someone in your rear arc range. So there are restrictions to only give a focus to someone. There are other ways and things to get ships in your list actions other than just focus, and let alone a red focus. So in perspective, this card as it is right now, looking at it in a vacuum by itself, doesn't look too bad. The fact that it is available to a faction that has a lot of things interacting and intertwining going for it is where the concern lies.
All right. Well, let's keep the party train going. We also got some more Scum Gauntlet pilots here. Let's take a peek at. Let's see. We'll save that one for last because we know.
Segue into more things better for Scum.
We have the Initiative 1 Shadow Collective Operative. Like I said, Initiative 1. Super cool art there, by the way. You see it dropping bombs, by the way, in this picture. Bomb slot, anyone?
It talks about them having, in part of the last sentence, sometimes using them as bombers.
That's
Device
right.
slot, or sorry, payload slot confirmed, at least in some of these.
Maybe just for the Shadow Collective Operative.
As long as they lose another slot to get it. Don't just give it to them for free. Although this is also the only generic gauntlet so far that does not pipped. You can have as many of these as you want.
Oh, you're right.
Dion was not safe. He can now have to buy multiple of these.
Yep. Watch out. Well, let's keep it going here. We got Rook Cast, the Stoic Super Commando. Before you engage, you may gain 1 strain token. While you perform a primary attack, if you are strained, you may change one of your blank or focus results to a hit result. Okay. You may change one of your blank or focus results to a hit result. All right, so these things are pretty beefy. They have 11 health. And this guy just has a straight just like, we're gonna make this a hit if we need to. I am glad that they made it primary only. That's good. That helps at least limit it from some things. Makes range 1 attacks scary, for sure. It does feel like a very Scum-like ability, though we did finish just talking about the fact that Scum does have a lot of nice toys. I mean, this is a pretty simple one. Just a couple of notes here. If you were strained previously from another effect, you do not have to do the first sentence. in order to do the second sentence. So that's why there's a period between those two. So if you were already strained, or if you took a strain, weren't attacked, didn't clear it, and had another attack, you don't need to take an additional strain to do this as long as you're carrying it over from a previous straining
No, it doesn't
moment.
say if you are strained. Oh, it is.
Yes.
It does.
Yes, it
says
does.
while you perform a primary attack if you are strained. So if you are strained, got it. So you can
in-game
basically
scenario,
YOLO over a
gas cloud, exactly what I was
gas
about to
cloud
say.
and
Yep.
be like,
I still got
so
a
I'm
mod. Woohoo!
yeah, two mods because now you can action over it as well.
If you land over it, yeah, it's true. As
If
long
you
as
clear it, yeah.
If you get ioned with the crit because you're a big base ship, you would only get to focus. But it's likely the only thing you need when you have this type of mod. This is like, we know how good Major Vermeil's effect is, right?
Yes.
It's just getting it to trigger, meaning your enemy can't have any tokens. This is by far much easier than Vermeil to trigger and just as good. This is, a lot of people are looking at, I think, a lot of people are looking at other gauntlets and oodling over it. We're about to get to one of them. And I don't think they're wrong for doing it. This is one of my, like, better watch out. This is really good.
Yeah, this is probably the best one because this is probably going to land 3 hits every time. 4 hits at range 1, and there's nothing if it doesn't have a pilot talent. Throw something like Fearless on there. I mean, there's different ways. There's different things you can do to further boost the chance that you'll land a hit. And something like Zam on this. I know you're getting into the expensive range, but now every additional shot that you take, or even something like Veteran Tail Gunner. I don't know if it'll have a gunner slot or not. If it has a gunner slot, now you basically take 1 strain and you mod your front and back arcs. I mean, there's it's just a silly one, and Initiative 3 actually is a benefit because the strain is not going to be meaningful against ships that moved before you and shot first at Initiative 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So yeah,
I mean,
it's
you're also potentially
kind of broken.
really free
Not broken,
to just
bad.
like take the red reinforce and say, I'll strain myself, but I'm also just going to have an easy mod to guarantee one of my dice is going to be a hit.
Yep.
We're not. I think we'll get into later some good crew coming out. That's potentially. I mean, you look at any additional modifying base crew. We just looked at Ahsoka. Anything that gives this thing force to just turn one of those eyeballs to a hit. You could reinforce. You have the ability, and if you have a force or a way to turn, or another reroll, or another type of mod, this thing is going to consistently get 3 hits and be really hard to take down in the long run. And yeah, if all the enemy ships shoot before Rook, it's going to have the 2 agility the entire time. Take the strain, shoot really well, do a blue if it feels like it next turn. Doesn't have to. Still has a lot of health.
And you can use it out of the front or back arc.
Yeah, you can strain yourself. And like you said, you don't have to do anything. You can just do another white maneuver and keep your gun on target and still have a mod, and just carry that mod until. And if they shoot you and get rid of the mod, just give it back to yourself.
Yep. And I think additional thing to kind of look at it is essentially this pilot is kind of like Fearless. The pilot is pseudo what this is doing, but better because it doesn't have any requirements for the physical placement of the ships. It's a self-contained ability, which whenever you have self-contained abilities that you can do yourself without having to involve anybody else, it's very good. Very good. All right. The next one I want to talk about right here, we got Maul. Take it, Ryan.
Maul, Lord of the Shadow Collective, sticking with his I-5 and 3 force with 1 recharging each turn. The ability, while you perform a coordinate action, which reminder coordinate on these ships is red. If you choose a ship with an initiative lower than yours, you may spend 1 force. If you do, treat the action as now white, so now it's not red anymore, and you may coordinate 1 additional friendly ship with an initiative lower than yours. Each friendly ship you coordinate this way gains 1 strain token. So he could coordinate 2 ships that are lower initiative than him, but each ship will get a strain. I promise the strain won't matter that much comparison beginning another action. Trust me, I know from running Tem and Wexley in the Resistance with flappy wings.
Yeah, especially when that action can be a reinforce or a boost out of the way or a barrel out of avoid shots. Initiative 5 is yeah, and
you're doing the action at I5, but it can still be done. I mean, we know coordinating, it can be done anywhere. So it just because it's being done on a lower initiative ship doesn't make it any less worth it. It's really good to do an action at I5. We haven't even gotten to like the dumbness that could come out of this. I mean, we really haven't gotten to that level of dumb yet. So, for example, you can have, I don't know, let's say Unkar Plut, right? You can have Unkar at initiative 2, move with Gleb, coordinate
Ryan's face. Oh, no.
I'm just giving you an example. So, and that's only 35 points. Move with Gleb, coordinate Maul, pass Maul the red afterwards, and have Maul basically coordinate back and coordinate something else. And now Unkar Plut has his focus. So another ship has a coordinated something, and Maul is going to take off, lose the stress, and do some other silliness. Whatever Maul's going to do. It's just, I mean, you can coordinate it and then coordinate back. So you can coordinate it at lower initiative, or even you can even coordinate it at higher initiative. Throw it Han Solo on there, and just like, I don't know. It's just very.
Just imagine how like this is incentivizing a higher initiative coordinate. Imagine if you're just running Paylob in your squad, right? You get to choose at I5 if you're gonna boost with Paylob to get closer to where he wants to steal it, or rotate it to wherever the arc needs to go on the other side in case they try and reposition out of you. Like with Maul, there is a situation where Paylob is a no escape scenario.
I think the other thing that's kind of hidden within this is the fact that she says if you do treat the action as white, right? So that is the coordinate action itself as white, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, you're coordinating 2 ships as a white action, and again, you can coordinate a ship that can coordinate you right back. So you can essentially get coordinated early, coordinate two other ships, including the one that coordinated you, or you can wait till everybody moves, then you move, you coordinate a ship that'll just throw you the coordinate right back, so you can take your focus or target lock and then still get another one out at initiative 5. And again, there's no loss for. You don't have to look very hard to find coordinators. Yeah. In Scum. I mean, you can coordinate an initiative 6 or you can coordinate an initiative 2 extremely easily. So, and cheap. I think the cheapest one is probably what? L3? L3 with tactical officer is 29.
Yes.
Yep. So like I don't know how this, unless we see another Gauntlet from Rebels or Empire that is also a Force user and has a crazy ability, I don't know how this isn't the most expensive Gauntlet.
It has to be. It has to be. What I'm hoping is, okay, so in order to have performed the action, I guess Marcel pointed out, though, you can just coordinate Maul to coordinate So if you're bumping, oh, that's disgusting. Okay,
Yeah, so if
never
you're
mind.
bumping or if you think
Yeah.
you're going to bump, then just take your L3 that's 29 points, and that L3 is essentially coordinating 2 ships because it'll coordinate Maul, who then in turn will coordinate probably L3 back and somebody else, or coordinate 2 other ships. And then, that is just silly. And at the end of the day, Maul doesn't really need a whole lot because he's got 11 hull and 3 force. So he's not, he's not starving for his own actions as much.
And actually, Marcel, when you talk about like more than just the anti-block capability with someone like L3 in the squad to coordinate Maul to then coordinate other things, that flexibility also allows the other ship's Maul coordinates to relieve the strain if they're going to do a blue maneuver anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So even that has a layer of reasoning for that.
Yeah, because you can coordinate at Initiative 2, coordinate back 2 other ships that are Initiative 3 or whatever, Initiative 2 also, give them the strain, and then they activate afterwards, and then they clear their strain and get...
So this type of single coordinate to multi-coordinate reminds me of General Hux, but General Hux only wishes he was this close because he's the complete opposite. He needs a white coordinate to turn it red to even coordinate multiple things that do red actions, and they have to be all the same ship. Hux only wishes he was even part of this.
He just wants to be part of the team.
And to make it even worse, let's stay on that L3 thing, right? So L3 29 points. That's the one that's doing this, or not L3. The other guy is, let's say the other dude.
The tugboat, Ungpar?
No, one above L3.
The Pioneer.
It's either the Outer Rim Pioneer or Lando.
Yeah, the Outer Rim. So he's I think 2 more points. So let's say 31 points. With him, you can even park this. You just keep doing that and just keep them parked on a rock, or keep them parked on a not on the rock, but like on a gas cloud, and you can still shoot while sitting on it. I mean, it's just a lot of dumbness.
Well, we'll see where it ends up costing upon release. That will, of course,
100.
as always, dictate. I mean, it honestly could. Oh, here's a question. Somebody had asked it in the chat. Does Maul cost more or less than Darth Vader Defender on release?
Less.
I think less as well.
I think it's actually pretty easily less. It's really hard to get that expensive right now. Even a ship like this that has 2 agility on 11 health, 3 force, and the multi-arcs, 3 dice attack. But I think it could definitely reach close to 100.
I would say probably 90, because if you look at Zam or Django, I mean, Django's 80. Is this 20 points better than Jam? I mean, 20 points better than Django? Maybe. It's close. It's
different. It's a facilitator of shenanigans.
The force, maybe. It's got 3 force.
Yeah.
But, Django's got a decent ability himself, Initiative 6, double arc, and the back arc is an additional die. So it's probably going to be maybe more.
I could see it comparable
range.
to a fire spray. I'm with you there.
Right now, Boba Fett in Scum is 85 points. Is this more or less than Boba Fett?
More.
85, you saying?
85 is Boba Fett right now in the fire spray.
I'm going 90.
You know what? For Price is Right rules, I will go 89. I'll tuck under there.
And Ryan will go 91, and I'll be stuck on exact.
All right. So that's Maul. That one's gonna be interesting for sure. But listen, that's not the end of this trail of cards that we got. Let's go ahead and hit. This is now referring to some of the cards that are going to be released in the Razercrest. Super hyped about that, by the way. Super hyped. Let's go ahead and open up this new illicit hot shot tail blaster, Marcel.
Basically a back arc, range 0 to 1, roll 2 dice, This attack can be performed at range 0. Whoop-de-doo, everything else will as well. Attack, just spend the charge. It's a 2-time. It's basically range 1 or range 0 back art 2 times in a row, or 2 times, up to 2 times, because you got cutthroat and other things on there that can bring it back.
Medium or large only.
Yeah. I mean, it's meh.
I mean,
It's not a bonus attack.
nobody ever used Hot Shot Blaster, which was a kind of bonus attack, wasn't it? This was Hot Shot Blaster was a first edition card, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Am I remembering something strange?
Yeah. Now, do you get the range bonus?
You do not. There's a little missile icon.
The missile icon. Yeah, no,
Yep.
it's garbage.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a medium or large base ship that has access to illicit, you most cases also have access to a payload slot. You may as well just put a bomb on your ship.
What if it's
It'll
1
do
point?
more than this will.
It's 1 point. Would you play it?
I mean, it's filler on a slaver or something like that. Could be filler. Just protect the back.
I mean, I guess if
one.
you don't have many points left in there, this does cost 1 point. You could put it on a YV, but I mean, there's way more valuable illicits for YVs than this. Contraband, Babu, plenty of others.
I would love to know, chat, how many points you think this is going to be. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. All right. Now, I think the one that we really want to talk about, which I think is a really cool mechanic here, we got the Razercrest. The Razercrest title, ST-70 assault ship only. I'll go ahead and read this, and Ryan, you can start to break it down for us here. Razercrest, it is, of course, pipped, unique. At setup, place one non-limited, meaning no dots, okay? Place one generic illicit upgrade face down under this card. Fam, we got trap cards. Anyway, let's continue. During the system phase, you may reveal that illicit card, that illicit upgrade, and equip it as if it were equipped at setup, period, without paying its points cost. Let me read that to you again. Without paying its points cost. This also gives you an evade action with the potential, if you would like, to link it into a barrel roll. Ryan, I'd love to know your thoughts.
Clarify, white evade into red barrel roll.
Correct.
So let's first clarify the actual illicits right now that are pipped, so we know what this can't take, because there's very few that are pipped, most are not. Cloaking device and Babu Freak are the only pipped illicits, so you can't store a cloaking device on this thing, and you can't store little Babu. Secretly, that is. Which is funny, because you would think for how tiny Babu Freak is, he would be able to be secretly hidden on Razercrest if you really wanted to. But what this means is, if you are bringing this title with you to an event, you are bringing every single illicit that's available to you just in case. Because if you see something across from the board from you and you feel like there's one of those cards that could be anything from Dead Man's Switch, Contraband Cybernetics, False Transponder Codes, Feedback Array, Overtune Modulators, Inertial Dampeners, without paying the variable cost, by the way. So on the Mandalorian pilot, who's I-5, you don't have to pay the 5 points. Or rigged cargo chute.
Yep.
So if I were on the logical sense of things, my guess is the absolute minimum cost this should be is the highest cost illicit you could potentially put on this ship, which would be the inertial dampeners at I-5, which is 5 points. If you weren't taking into account the variable points, it would be 4 points of the rigged cargo chute. it is adding a completely free white action of evade that it doesn't have, plus linking it into a red barrel roll. The Razercrest, as it is right now, already has white evade and has red barrel separately. My bad. It already does have it, but it doesn't have it linked.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the base that this should be is 5 points. I do recall, and what we've seen is a lot of things are being baked into costs now. See TIE Whisper to incentivize taking these titles with the ships, so it makes it iconic and bringing all the design pieces together. So we could see the base price of the ST-70 assault ship be a little bit higher, whereas the title is cheaper, so you're incentivized to take it. It's obviously really good to, in any format, basically have your own little sideboard, so that if you're bringing the Mandalorian at I-5, and every ship you see across the board from you is moving before you, pretty good to have inertial dampeners.
Yeah.
Just say, I now can threaten to zero stop even if I've not put that on my dial. By taking a singular damage, which that one damage could save me from 5. Who knows? Or I could see that I would like to alpha something really quickly and get it off the board by moving and taking a target lock. I could decide to take overtune modulators and run up, ping overtune modulators, lock, have full mods, shoot a ship really well, focus fire, and kill it. Could also do the same thing with false transponder codes. Could also decide to say, I feel like I'm going to do a lot of red maneuvers. I could take contraband cybernetics. I could say, this opposing list doesn't seem like it really wants to deal with obstacles. I could take a cargo chute. So there's a lot that this can do. There are definitely some standout illicits that likely get taken most of the time. In the actual Twitter post by Atomic Mass Games, this actual title is not the only illicit upgrade that it's going to get. It does have a base illicit on the chassis itself, because in the post it says the Razercrest can be outfitted with an additional illicit upgrade in the battles of Star Wars X-Wing. So that means to me that you will have an illicit slot available on the ship by itself, but you will get another one basically by taking the Razercrest title.
And my question right there is similar to Isophane's in the chat. Like, so normally you cannot take, for instance, like multiple of the same card, right? So what is double contraband cybernetics, double what you call it, double stopping?
I don't know,
like
if that
inertial dampeners
would be.
Is that even
allowed.
Legal?
I don't know if that would be legal.
That will have to be an FAQ question that we get answered, because it does say in Razercrest title, during the system phase, you may reveal that illicit upgrade and equip it as if it were equipped at setup. So
True.
To be able to equip an upgrade, I think one of the base things is you can't have already equipped the same one and double equip it.
Double deadband switch.
So we'll see. They may say yes, it might work. They might let us do it. That might be one of the intentions. We don't know right now, but based upon the fact that the card, my guess, and this is only my guess, is how I would interpret if I was ruling for my local game store, is I would say, because it says equipment as if it were equipped at setup, which means it needs to follow the rules of equipping onto a ship, it wouldn't be able to double dip.
I would agree.
Sorry, I thought I was muted and I was clearing my throat the whole time, so I apologize
I
for
thought
the
it was just like,
noises.
I thought it was you just going, mm-hmm.
No, I
But-
had I'm still coming off a flu from like it's been like 8 or 9 days. So
All
But
right.
Marcel, what would you do with this card? What you have all illicits available to you minus the pipped ones. I mean, what matchups? You've played Scum more than me. What type of things do you see across the board that make you say that now I can choose my illicits? What pops out to you?
I don't know. It just giving me a little bit of Thweek flashbacks. So my I don't know. I'd have to. I mean, I don't know. You got. I would probably put the guarantee as one of two things. Either you because it's got to be non-unique. So if you've got a unique illicit, then you put your unique illicit, and then you keep all your other generics for this. But yeah, I mean, you basically covered it. I don't think there's stopping is good. You can do a contraband. Contraband is always useful. And then if you can stop, actually, can you stop with? Can you action with the
Dampers?
yeah?
No, because it says do a white stop, but give yourself a stress.
So yeah, so you can contraband dampeners on a bind. So if you're like you said, if you've got a bunch of low initiative things, that then you can just throw contraband. Contraband being what you already have, and then or even because contraband would be cheaper in that case. So contraband would be what you have, and then throw dampeners on there just for again when you're in a bind. And it probably has an EPT, so you can throw cutthroat on there and maybe recharge one of them back. This is Scum, so a lot of fun toys.
You know what's kind of fun is
Or Jabba the Hutt. Jabba in there.
Oh.
If there's crew room for him.
Oh well, there's crew room for it in the faction. I mean, there's you can throw I mean, there's ways to get it in there.
True. Huh. Well, there you go. Those are some of the cards that we've missed. I also noticed that I didn't show off the Gauntlet on its peg right there. That is clearly an epic peg. There's no doubt about it. That's what we were talking about. Is it an epic peg? And the answer is, or at least very similar to an epic peg.
You know, I think we
Is
got
that
one.
a Sith infiltrator on the back? It almost looked. No, it's not. But the shape for a second looked like a Sith infiltrator. The one in the back.
Right here?
No, the one in the back.
This?
I mean, the actual gauntlet. Yeah. Like it's pointy and. Never mind. Blame the flu. Go.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Ryan?
I think we got one new card left that partners with
Did I miss one?
would be the Mandalorian crew upgrade.
Oh, you're right. And the child too. We didn't talk about.
Yeah, we've seen the child before, but it's very important to see them both together because they work together.
Yes.
But since we were finishing on Razercrest based stuff, we got, or at least we're still in the same category.
Let's go ahead and dig that out here. That was in which post? I think I have missed it.
If you go to our notes, it's the only one not flagged red.
Got it. I just skipped over it like a dingus. All right, here we go. Dun, 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 do, 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 do. There it is. Take it, Marcel.
All right. So it's the Mandalorian Scum crew. Adds a white reinforce.
Oh, yeah.
During the end phase, if you did not defend this round, recover one non-recurring force, if able. That's if you did not defend. So, like Ryan said, it partners with the child who gives you 2 force, non-recurring, and then it's I mean, and it plays off really well. You're not going to bring up the child, or you're trying to bring up the child so you can have it next to each other.
And the child is right
There you go. And which the child says it's 2 force. It's also a crew. It says after placing forces, choose an opponent. They assign the merciless pursuit condition to 2 of their ships. Your force lose the recurring icon. After you defend, if you suffer damage during that attack, recover a force. So basically, you throw this on there again, going back to, let's say Bosk with Greedo. Bosk, the child, Greedo Gunner, and the Mandalorian. And then you move and you reinforce. So you have 2 force, you move, you reinforce. If they shoot you, then you recover the force because you're probably taking damage, but not a lot of damage because you're reinforced.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they don't shoot you, you spend your force on offense, and then you recover a force because nobody shot you. So it's you're discouraging people from shooting at you by doing a white reinforce. And then it's one of those, like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to shoot the reinforced ship, or you're going to let it still shoot you and then still recover a force afterwards? It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah. It's also, it's also that you see Scum getting a crew that gives any ship, no matter what size, white reinforcements.
Oh yeah.
That's so. I like baseline. I really like the theme and how cool the Mandalorian and the child interact together. The whole if the Mandalorian keeps him from being shot at, the child can recover its force. If they get shot at though and they take damage, the child then like amps back up, getting ready as like things stress up and it feels like it needs to help out. Super cool. Giving any ship that takes crew white reinforce, not cool. There are things that probably shouldn't have access to reinforce that will.
Like
We'll
what?
find out. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a nightmare to deal with Kanan, Hawker, Paylob with reinforce.
Okay, fair. I was trying to think like who,
Yeah,
and
Hawks.
now the Hawks is probably the only ones that I can imagine, because Kanan with the reinforce is like, okay, I have force, I have 3, I have a couple 4 focus stacked, and now I have reinforce. So I was trying to think like which one actually gives you a real issue, and that probably that one.
Yeah.
Can't think of many other though.
Now we talked about, now this is mainly deals with the interaction between these two, because basically if you have these two on the same ship, they are going to pretty much act like a reoccurring force normally.
Yeah.
Just because of how the Mandalorian's effect work and how the child's effect work. These two on Rook is like potentially really, really good. I don't know what the final total of cost will be with everything here, but with Rook's ability, you just white reinforce. I can deal with blank results because I'll just take a strain. I'm reinforced. Neat. I've dealt with a strain once. Not going to have to deal with it more than one attack. And then I have force to deal with my eyeball results. And all the child needs to do is after you defend, if you suffer damage, recover a force. You could still have a situation where you spent a force to reduce one of the damage and then get it back because you've taken just one, slowly bleeding the health over time, but still getting force back. The Mandalorian, on the other hand, is only at the end phase if you did not defend. So
Right.
You're getting force back pretty often. I don't know what the final total of Rook with Child and Mandalorian is going to be, but I'm going to find out really quick when that comes out.
Slap it on the table. Slap it on the table. See what happens.
You think they're gonna have 2 crew?
It's a big
The
enough
Gauntlets?
ship. I think the base Gauntlet fighter will have 2 crew.
Yeah. So you're thinking Rook, Mando, not Mando, man. Yeah, Rook, Mando, Child.
Yep. I'm going to try and build that first and see what else I can fit.
Awesome.
That seems good. The only thing that could just, the ship can't turn around. So I got to make the front arc work for as long as possible.
Well, you got a back arc, and it'll be like advanced optics. It'll be, with the A-wings, 2 dice as long as they're always hitting, or going back to 1.0, the whatever corrector or whatever one that you cancel your dice and just do 2. That's always going to be 2 dice. Consistent is still consistent.
Yeah, it's still annoying to deal with. And to still remind people of what the downside to the child's ability is, the merciless pursuit. After you perform an attack, if the defender is equipped with the child, so this is what you're giving your opponent to then give to 2 of their ships, is old school first edition for fire control system, which was basically this ability: when you perform an attack, you may acquire lock on the after you perform an attack, you may acquire lock on the defender. So you're keeping mods on the ship you're trying to go after. Quote, the merciless pursuit. They want to go after the child. Theme acquired.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put it on a ship that is reinforced by the Mandalorian and has a whole lot of health and 2 agility, aka the Gauntlet, that's a whole lot to have to chew through. I've looked at how durable it is on some of the dice calculator out there just to get a feel for it, because not all of it's going to be exact, but it's going to give you an idea. It's a very, very durable ship. It's pretty close to the Decimator with Reinforce.
Wow. And I think, with that, the question is the time spent attacking, right? And I like your thought on bringing Rook, because if you ignore Rook, you're like, hey, that's just bait to be able to absorb a bunch of shots. You still have the other half of your list, or however much percentage left of your list, to go after the ship. And if you ignore it, Rook's like, hey, I shoot real good too if you're going to ignore me. And you can flip it that way. So I like that this gives you a lot of options there. I do think, like you said, Ryan, it's gonna be pretty powerful. I'm a fan.
The question will be is if I put Rook on the table with Mandalorian and the Child, and then I put Boba Fett on the table, how much do I have left?
So this is why I was saying Ahsoka, being as good as she is as a crew, may not even make the cut, because there's just so many options.
I mean, you could end up saying, you know what, the Mandalorian and Child combined on someone like Rook is too expensive. I just need a single force to help my offense a little bit, to help push Rook over a little bit. I'll deal with the red reinforce. You can just take Ahsoka. Ahsoka crew might be cheaper than Maul Scum crew.
And remind me, friends. So the I know they're already doing pre-orders. You can see the store link. The store link is right there where it says store link. They are. Is it February? They expected, yeah, February 25th.
February 25th
is the expectations for the Razercrest. Is it the same for the Gauntlet?
I think the whole wave is February 25th. Yes.
Yeah, February 25th.
I would imagine, and the card pack.
Very cool. Well, if you're watching this later on YouTube, let us know in the comments down below which of those upgrades or pilots has got you the most excited. Of course, if you're watching at home, you can let us know in the chat today. And let's see, we got a few minutes left because I don't want to go on too late. Like I said, I do have family in town. But in the pre-show, my little sister is in town hanging out. So you'll see her random hand right there. Hello. Okay. If you were writing a letter to game developer Santa, and you could bring one character or item feature into X-Wing that doesn't exist yet, what would you want? What would you want? You're writing to game developer Santa. Santa, please give me this for Christmas. What is that?
Is that
Go for
us?
it. Yeah, it's for you.
All right. Give me 4 banks.
4 bank. That's bold. That's okay.
Well, it's actually more for my OCD because when you set you got the 1 hards, 2 hards, 3 hards, and then you go into the 3 banks, and then you go into the 4 and 5, and it doesn't fully do like the triangle. So some 3 banks would really fill in the gap nicely. And plus, it'd be fun. I mean, some 4 banks, and it'd be fun to have some really fast ships, or have some cards that allow you to change your 3 to a 4 or something like that.
They'd have to. Ryan?
Mhm.
I'm gonna go like super heavy-handed on this. I don't know.
Santa, take away all these things.
No. I don't know if it's super well balanced. I think I like it conceptually. Remove initiative killing, so everyone gets to shoot. But this might sound weird. Now everything always moves low to high. Everything will also shoot low to high. So the higher initiative ships will have more information on their decision when defending and shooting, but no more initiative killing. Everyone gets to shoot.
Wow.
Ryan, you're not my friend anymore. That is
terrible. That's
We don't know.
2.6. 2.6
Why is it terrible?
over here.
Why is it terrible?
Because
Why is it terrible? Well, even think about it thematically. I mean, you have 2 ships that are going against each other, or think about it in the Wild Wild West. Think in Mandalorian. You know, Mandalorian. You have Cad Bane and Mando here, kind of facing each other off. It's whoever's got more initiative, more skill, whoever's been doing it longer is going to shoot first and not get shot back.
Wouldn't it be kind of interesting though if only some pilots had the ability to actually kill? Like, what if Han?
Or wouldn't it be if some pilots only had the initiative to smash?
In that world, right? In that world, if there's no initiative killing and all the things that prevent it or deal with it go away, but you have certain pilots. What if Han now has his ability? Normally he would shoot later because he's a really good pilot. He was patient. He knows he can make decisions when he needs to, but he could say, Han wants to shoot first. That's my ability. And when I shoot first, you'll die then. There will be certain pilots that get that killing ability.
Wait. Did you hear that? I think I just heard Italy picking up pitchforks.
Look, just the concept that me and some people have talked about. I think it's interesting. Don't know what world that creates. It would obviously be a gigantic change. Who knows?
Huh. Interesting. All right. I'm just gonna keep knocking at this door. I need an Archangel. Thank you, Archangel, please. Give me the Archangel. I want it. Let's get Dr. Aphra in the game. I think it'd be awesome. All right. That's it. That's it for today, my friends. Short, simple, and sweet. We will see you again. We will speak to you again in the new year, January 3rd, 2022. I look forward to 6 months of writing the wrong date on all of my work papers and emails. It should be fantastic. Anything exciting for New Year's? Gonna snuggle with that little one.
Yeah, I mean, more time with Ollie. I'll be getting back to actual working from home still, and see how we can make that all balance out. Sarah will still be on leave for a little bit longer though, so
that's good. Marcel, any plans
for the weekend?
Yeah.
Maybe. Depends on how we feel. We're supposed to be hosting family, but again, we're just gonna play it by ear. And if everybody's feeling well, we'll get together here at my place. That's one of the things. Like, for those of you who know, and some of you don't, I got a place. We bought a house or a condo earlier this year, but we had only June, my kid. He's the only one that's visited so far. Nobody else has visited because of COVID, so we haven't even done. So we're hoping maybe this weekend we can do it. And also, it's December 31st is my birthday, so
happy birthday
almost.
to you.
So yeah. So hopefully we can.
Happy birthday. He thought I was gonna stop to you. Anything else?
No, I thought you were not gonna stop. Oh my god.
Birthday, dear Marcel.
How come this feels like revenge for like the entire 4 or 5 years? Ah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah. So hopefully family together.
I wasn't gonna try and try and sync that up with Dion. I figure we'll let Dion use his beautiful voice he's mastered throughout his years of musical prowess. I would not try and attempt to ruin it.
All right. We're gonna do something fun here for After Dark here for a minute. But those of you who are listening and watching, you're gonna have to miss out on it. I'm sorry, that's how this works. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for listening. Be smart, be safe. See you in 22. Gold Squadron out.